Hey everyone. I just grabbed out a couple of boards and of course my computer just shut. So I'm going to try one of the transfers that I haven't used yet. This is actually a D-size transfer, which is 18 by 18, but as you can see, it's got 3 different parts to it. And we're going to use my little mouse here. Pull up my page, give Facebook time to notify everybody that I'm online. Okay. So I'll pull out all my stuff here. Okay. So for this one, I figured I needed the bigger board, but I'm not sure that I need to. So this is actually our reclaimed wooden tray, or not wooden tray, metal tray. And I did clean it off. They're easy to clean if you don't seal it with something. You'll be able to get the chalk paste off of it. This one you can actually see, I don't know how well you can see it, but there's like a little ghosting on it. It's barely noticeable. I mean, only if I look under bright light, I can see where the stuff was. But that can easily be covered up. I just want to show you guys I just cleaned that one off. And I think I'm going to use my good... So this is my Avon board. The Avon board is the one that comes in the starter kit for designers. To clean the board, this is one of the ones where I did the watercolor effect. I just sprayed down water, give it like 15 seconds or so, and then put the little eraser on it, which I left at the sink. Put the eraser on it to get the chalk paste off of it. So I usually get about 15 seconds to sit in there. And then just start moving it around. This has actually got like 3 layers of chalk paste on it because I did the watercolor effect. So I did an outline of it. And actually as I'm cleaning it, you can kind of see. Like, I'll kind of show you. So I didn't clean it. I didn't push down really hard or anything. But as you can see, so here's where I did the watercolor effect. And as I'm taking off the layers, I'm taking off the top 2 layers. You can see how the outline looked like before I did the watercolor effect on it. Which is kind of neat. Okay, let's see if Facebook's got my page up yet. And sent the notifications out. If you do pop on, go ahead and hit like. And as I'm taking off the layers, or comment or share or something so I know that you're there. You can even hit like and then hit unlike. It doesn't matter. So I'm just going to go ahead and the Aiden board is kind of like their top of the line board. They have all different sizes. This is the 9x12, which comes in the designer starter kit. It's usually around $40. So with the deal that you get with the kit, you pretty much get the board for free. And it's taking me a little bit longer to clean it. Like I said, I had 3 layers of chalk paste on this. Because I did the outline, then the watercolor, then another outline on top of it. It took me a little bit longer to clean it. Like I said, I had 3 layers of chalk paste on it. I'm sorry, that's echoing myself. Hey, go ahead and hit like or comment or share if you pop on. If it's a replay, just say replay. If you share my video while it's live, then you get entered in the weekly drawing. And if you want to know what you could get for a prize in the drawing, you can check out my VIP group. If you have any questions on that, just go ahead and make little comments. Right. So, we gotta clean this up. Hi. Just making sure I got the spots where it was really thick. So in some areas it was only 1 layer of chalk paste because that was the area I did the watercolor effect, which was in between the outlines. But the area where there's outline, there was outline, some of the watercolor effect, and the outline on the top. So it was actually 3 layers. Make sure I get it all off and dry so I can do my designs. And I'm just using paper towel to dry it off. just basically to speed up the drying process. Make sure there's no ghosting on it. Ghosting is kind of like an outline of what was on the board before that. If you ever use like a whiteboard or chalkboard at work or school, you know that sometimes when people erase things, it doesn't really get erased. You can still see it in the background. So I'm just making sure that, and I don't know if you can tell, but I can't see any ghosting on there at all. And I know I can usually see it better than you guys can because of the reflection of the light with the camera and everything. So this is, what one was this called? This is called Dare to Begin. It's in the Positive Vibe collection. The Positive Vibes collection has a lot of different animal kind of prints in it. There's one that's a wild child, do good, be good. A whole bunch of different varieties that you can do combinations of. But it really does focus on the different kind of animal patterns. Like this is like a zebra kind of pattern. But there's a leopard one and a spots one. They're all part of the collection. And this is a D size transfer, which is the 18 by 18. But a lot of the larger ones have smaller parts in them. So overall the transfer is 18 by 18, but the actual design, I'm actually going to be putting this design on the 9 by 12 8-inch board. And I can't remember if I said that the 9 by 12 8-inch board is porcelain magnetic. So that's why it's like really nice and fancy. That's why it's the most expensive board that Chalk Couture has. Some people will just take the scissors or like an X-Acto knife and just cut down halfway without cutting the backer. And then they try to put things right back on. But they'll take them off in the smaller sections, but put them back on because the backer stays whole. I find it easier just to cut them apart. And then I will try to get in the habit better of labeling them on the back so that after I dry them, I know which backer they're supposed to go on. Okay, so this is the Dare to Begin, Make Today Yours. And make today yours. Hey, I can see people popping on and off. I can't see who you are, but I can see like numbers popping out. So I'm just going to call this one the zebra pattern. And again, this is the Positive Vibes collection. Let's come out. Whoops. All right. So with this board, the zebra pattern is going to go all the way to the edge. I thought about doing it on the other board because the board's bigger. But just kind of wondering if it's gonna look funny, being that it doesn't go all the way to the edge. So that's why I'm gonna choose to do it on the 8-inch board. Not sure where that water came from. So I'm gonna grab my little fuzz cloth and I'm gonna fuzz up my transfer. And one thing you do want to be careful of, because this is going to hang over the edge of the board. Because it's going to hang over the edge of the board, and it also has a big, huge mesh areas, I want to make sure the section that's hanging over the edge, I want to make sure that it doesn't pull up any of this white. It's like a white painted, it's like a white matte kind of finish. So I want to make sure that that does not get pulled up. So even though it has a lot of mesh area, you can see it's still really, it's really sticky. I did have that happen before, not on this board, but on more of a cheaper picture frame that had white on it. So I figure now, I'm just now extra careful when I'm using different ones if I'm going over the edge of the frame. And remember, a good test of whether it's too sticky or not is drag it across. If it sticks and you cannot get it off, then you realize that you probably need to fuzz it some more. And from top to bottom. It's got a big mesh screen area, so I'm trying to start at one side and put it down, especially since I can't go all the way around the edge. Oops. So I don't have as many, trying to have as few air bubbles in there as possible. And I'm pushing it down right along the edge to try to give it as much grip as possible. So, anybody have any, I was thinking of doing it in pink, just because it'd be different, like a pink or yellow background, and then some darker letters on top. And then I've got to decide if I want to use the Dare to Begin on top, or the Make Today Yours. And really, you don't even have to use the sayings that come with them. There's tons of different sayings and different patterns. You can use any of them. Another one I pulled out was the, we may not have it all together, but together we have it all. And that, it's really wordy though, and I want to be able to see the zebra background. So, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the pink. Pink is actually peony, like the flower. And I'm going to use my small squeegee, which looks big, but it's called a small. Just because of the size of it, it's going to make it easier and quicker for things to get put down. It will also help you smooth out any air bubbles if you've got any in your projects. So if you go ahead and go over it before you actually put the chalk paste on, you might notice that you're able to smooth it down a little bit more. Okay, so first I'm going to grab the stuff that's in the lid. This is one of the new paste formulas, so the foam lid is still stuck in there, which is what you want. And I'm just grabbing the pink out of that first. You can see I tipped the jar on its side. I moved my jars around, so anybody that tunes in before notices that my area is switched around a little bit. And I've got my paint jars over here, but of course I dropped some when I was moving them, so some of the paint shifted in some of them. And I can see air bubbles underneath here. I'm gonna try to be careful when I pull it up to make sure that it has minimum impact on the design. Hi! So feel free to, especially if you're catching out on a replay, comment anything that you'd like to see, because I know it's not easy. I mean, today's a really nice day and people were outside and it's just starting to get dark out, so you know, I haven't gone outside too much the last I mean, I've gone outside and run errands and stuff, but as far as doing too much outside, my allergies were acting up, so I did a lot of yard work and then decided I needed to take a break from the outdoors. It was a little cooler today, which I probably should have saved some of the work for today, but that's okay. I really need a gardener, honestly. Someone just to maintain the lawn, and then I need a maid to clean the house, do the dishes, and then clean the bathroom. I'm gonna need to win the lottery in order to do that, though, I think. So, unless for some reason I can convince my mother to come over and do it. She's half a country away right now, but she did a good job at picking up stuff when I was recovering from surgery last fall. Didn't you, Mom? Okay. So, I'm going to pull this up, and as I pull it up, I've got stuff on my fingers. It's usually a good idea to check your fingers before you pull things up. Otherwise, you're likely to get chalk paste, or chalk paste is easy to clean up, but ink is not as easy. Especially if you're working on a t-shirt or something, and odds are that you're not going to be able to get all of the ink up. Dark colored t-shirt, it's not going to show so much, but a light colored t-shirt like white, it's going to show. So I'm going to start to pull it up, and as I pull it up, because I can see little dark spots, those are actually air bubbles in the mesh area. I'm going to watch to see, as I pull it up, if those are causing any big gaps, and they're not. So far I can see where they were, but they're just, and I'm just going slowly because I don't want to stretch this. they're not leaving like big spaces where you can see black dots or anything from the chalkboard underneath. They were just bubbles in the mesh, which worked out that. But if I saw one that left a big black spot where it should be pink, I can pop it right back down and go over it again. When you're doing a big one like this, you can do a pull and peel, which is like do a section, pull it up, do another section, pull it up. It can help from, I just use one color, but say I was doing rainbow colors or getting fancy with my colors. That's something you want to consider doing. You don't want the chalk paste to start to dry on there. Okay, so as you can see, the transfer looks a little weird because I only didn't use the whole thing. But the pink zebra on there looks good. I'm just going to set this in my little water bucket. I did change out my water bucket for, at the dollar store, I saw one of the oil pans in the car section. And that's actually, it's as deep, but it's rounder. So that's 18 long. And I'm able to fit most of it in on like the water dish one. Okay, so this is going to take a minute or two to dry. Toss that in there. So it gives me time to decide on the wording I want to use and the colors I want to use. So I usually don't care for pink, but I really like this. Can you see the zebra effect? And I can see along the edge of the board here I got some pink. I'm going to wait to clean that up till afterwards. Because if I were to clean it up now, there's likely I'm going to touch the pink that's on the board, and I don't want to touch the pink that's on the board. It's not that noticeable, but I know it's there, so I'm going to want to clean it up afterwards. And I'll just use a Q-tip dipped in water. I think I'm going to do the Dare to Begin, but what color should I do the Dare to Begin in? So black is going to be a little too dark because that was going to blend in with the background. Could try the yellow. Yeah, while that's drying, I'm going to go ahead and clean my other board. And I'll show you how to clean a board while I'm doing that. So the Odette boards are, so this, even though the background's white, it is a reusable chalkboard surface. So it's a white chalkboard. This has been on, oh geez, since February, so a couple months. It's got the green meadow on it, and then silver shimmer. So I don't know if you can see that I got, it's designed to look like an old general store, so the letters aren't, perfect or anything like that, and the edge is a little faded. That it's part of the design. So I'm just gonna let the water sit on there for a minute. And while this is drying, here to the side, I'm going to catch this one out so there's not a chance of them jumping up on it. Okay, so you can, there's no rhyme or reason as to where you start. Just start anywhere. Just go over it. There is a paste scraper. I actually have one, but I haven't really used it. Where you can like scrape it. Think about it like, it's pretty much like if you're scraping like frost off your vehicle in the winter, you get like just a little hand scraper. That's basically what it is, and you can do the same thing on the chalkboard. So it scrapes up any paste that's there, and you can scrape it into a pile to get it off. I've seen people using them. I just hadn't figured out if I really would find it valuable or not. It does make it a little neater to clean things up. I just do a swirling motion with this, and I'm not even pushing down hard because I let the water do most of the work. The longer the water sits on it, the easier it is to get it to come up. And as you can see, the green is coming off. So don't be afraid with the white backgrounds to put darker colors on them that they're going to stain it. They're not going to stain it. Yodet boards are reusable chalkboard surfaces, and they come in all different sizes. Like you saw the welcome one, which is about half the size of this one. Actually less than half the size of this one that I did. There's a smaller 9x12 one. This is the 12x18 one. You know, as the longer that the water sits on it. And you can always spray more water on it. You don't usually need to. Just the water needs to. It depends on how thick you put it on too. Like with the first board that I cleaned before I did the design, I had 3 layers of chalk paste on it because I had done the outline, the watercolor effect, and then another outline on top of the watercolor effect to make it pop. So for anybody that's just tuning in, I'm just cleaning this board off while my other one with the pink zebra pattern I just did dries up a little bit so I can put letters on top of it. So I use the 9x12 Aiden board that comes in the designer kit. And I'm just cleaning this one up. Making sure I get all the colors off it. And then glittery. Sometimes people want to use a one eraser for glitter, for projects that have glitter in them, which are any of the shimmer paste, and other ones that are for non-glitter. I'm not that picky, but it does help because, of course, once glitter gets on something, if I go to clean that board with this glitter, which it already had glitter on it, but if I were to go clean that board with this, inevitably some glitter is going to get on it. If I clean the zebra transfer with that one, likely that the zebra transfer is also going to end up with glitter on it, even though I haven't used any glitter paste on it. Glitter is just one of those things that no matter what you do, it gets on everything. And if you think it's a fine mica powder or something in the shimmer paste, because it's a really super fine glitter and everything that you do with it sparkles. Oops, I can see one little spot there I missed. So after you clean it off, you can look through it and see if you should not see any ghosting. So you should not be able to tell what was on this board when I get it clean. So I shouldn't be able to see anything that had the general store. So I shouldn't be able to read general store. I shouldn't see a border on the outside, and I can't. That was one little letter that I saw a piece of, so I just took the extra off. All right, so that one is now clean. I can use that one again. And let's see if this feels like it's dry enough. It's not dry enough yet. Oh, does anybody have any questions? So I did mention that this comes in the designer kit, which is $99 to start. And it's a 3-month commitment after that, where you do $20, which you get the club. You get website and a whole bunch of other benefits. So even if you want to just get yourself a lot of supplies, because you get a 15% off coupon when you first start, you have to use within 60 days. But you get the monthly club transfer. You just don't get the 3 paste packets, but you get 5 jars in your starter kit, which is way more than, I mean, I think we figured out the other day that it's like over 15 paste packets in the 3-ounce jar. Yeah, they used to be 2 ounce. So they're 3 ounce because the paste packets are like 0.19 ounce. So it's like at least 15 for that. And as you can see, I hardly made a dent in it, even though I used a lot of pink. It still feels tacky. I really want to finish this one. So I'm going to grab another board. I'm going to grab another board and do, while I wait for this one to dry, because I really want to do it, but I don't want to mess up. If I do it when it's still tacky, what's going to happen is this transfer is going to pull up some of that pink paint. And I don't want that to happen. So I'm going to set that there and let that continue to dry. And I'm going to grab another board. I'll grab the tray that I cleaned up earlier. And I'll do this one, but we may not have it all together. But together we have it all. This is the reclaimed little tray. doing 2 projects while one thing dries. And I am going to be having like a little make and take gatherings once we can actually get together again. So depending on what areas will allow us to do that, I will also be going to people's houses, and right now I've just done that with like family, to go to people's houses and or have people over here. Which could be in the house or front porch or my garage. My garage is pretty much fully equipped with pretty much everything now. So with the hose, I'm really gonna have running water. Okay. This one, you can actually get a ruler, measure it out. So see, right here, it seems like it's really sticky, so I'm gonna fuzz it some more. Because you don't want to have to struggle to peel it off. If you are struggling to peel it off, you're more likely to stretch your transfer. I haven't heard of them tearing, but I have heard, like, you don't want the letters to stretch out or anything. You don't want it to curl up either because you didn't fuzz it enough. So that's what I did. The little test I do, which I haven't seen anybody say that they do this, but so I go like this, and if you can't pull it across it, then you need to fuzz it some more. I'm just kind of basically eyeballing it. And I'll just do a couple colors on it. The point of smoothing it down is to make sure there's no air bubbles. So I want the colors to pop out. So I've got my Tide and what's this? Tulip. So Tulip is one of the new seasonal colors. And I've got Tide, and I probably can grab out another one. What will look good with those 2? Probably my green. My green's getting low, but I've got another one on the way. So if there's ever any design, I know I like keep doing my projects and I forget to tell you guys that I actually sell this stuff. I guess I just kind of assume that everybody knows that. But I do sell this stuff, and I sell all the supplies, all the transfers. I have stuff in stock, but I also do finished products. So if you're just saying, I'd like that on a tray and that's all you want, I can just do it for you. It is less expensive for you that way, but if you get the transfer, it's reusable. So like a transfer in a jar, I mean, because you can do this on wood, you can do it on windows, anything. You can just do it over and over and over again and share it. So that's what's good about the make and takes. Because with the make and takes, you can just come use any of my transfers that I have, anyone you want. You're just basically picking the size of the project you want to do, and you're just using the supplies that I already have on hand. So any of the colors that you see, because I know one of the first things I had trouble with was like picking out, well, what color do I want? What color am I going to use the most? You have no idea when you first start out what you want to do. So I've got my 3 colors ready to go, and my squeegees. How do I want to do it? I think I'll do a little messy in the middle. Look kind of like the Tide Tulip Meadow. So that's what I'll start with.